Welcome. So for today's practice, we will be doing a combination practice. So we'll be beginning with a little bit of basic breath work, moving into a gentle yoga flow, and closing off with a brief meditation. There's value in all three of the aspects, so it's nice to do a fully comprehensive practice. So let's go. So beginning by finding a comfortable seated position. So if either straight on the ground, maybe you have a cushion underneath you. You could even be kneeling, or if you prefer, you can be sitting on a chair. Any of those options is totally fine. And gently closing the eyes, resting the hands somewhere comfortable, relaxing the forehead, the eyebrows, softening the eyeballs, the eyelids, relaxing the cheeks, the jaw, the tongue. Softening the shoulders. At the same time, lengthening the spine. So as if there's this string pulling you up from the crown of your head, gently, gently, and then softening a little bit. Inviting the mind to be present, to be with the body, to be with sensation. And noticing any areas of tension, tightness. Inviting those areas to soften, to relax, to let go. Noticing the breath, where you feel the breath. If it's the belly or the chest, throat, the tip of the nose. Notice if it's deep or shallow, fast or slow. Maybe even noticing it's not entirely regular. Every breath is a little bit different. And then bring one hand onto the heart and one hand onto the belly. And do a few deep belly breaths just to calm the nervous system down. So exhaling first. And then taking a deep full breath into the belly, clarifying that the breath is coming into the belly expanding on the inhale. And then exhaling slowly, slowly out through the mouth. Another breath in, deep, full, long inhale. Belly expanding, filling with air, with life. And exhaling slowly, slowly, the belly falls, letting go, letting out the day, fully arriving. Deep, full, long inhale, belly fills with air, with oxygen, with life. And exhaling slowly, slowly out through the mouth. And again, another deep, full, long, expansive inhale, belly rising. And exhaling slowly out through the mouth. So doing a few of these on your own, you might want to do them a little longer, or if you're really struggling, you may need to do them a little shorter. Just really clarifying that the breath's going in and out of the belly. The chest might follow the belly, but the belly comes first. And this really helps to activate the part of the nervous system that's responsible for relaxing, for being calm, for healing the body, for replenishing cells. We spend a lot of our time in the fight or flight nervous system, which many of us are familiar with, and that will correspond with more shallow breaths and more in the chest. So already just breathing into the belly, deep, full breaths, is an amazing practice for helping our mental well-being and just making us calm throughout the day, at any time throughout the day. If you're ever feeling stressed or a little bit anxious, just take a few deep belly breaths and it really can just change everything. The last one. Exhaling out through the mouth. And allowing the breath to return to its natural rhythm. You can rest the hands back down onto your knees. Just checking in with yourself and maybe noticing you already feel a little bit different just from taking a few deep breaths. Maybe you feel a little bit different. And we're going to do some spinal stretches. So you can keep your eyes closed for this if you wish. Otherwise, opening the eyes, reaching the arms up and over, interlocking the hands above the head, and reaching the hands up, stretching. Notice if you're sticking the chest out and bring the chest and the belly back in. Breathing freely, there's no need to hold the breath. And then soften the shoulders so the shoulders come down and away from the ears, spacious around the neck. Reaching over towards the left. And the left hand comes down. If you're on a chair, it can come onto the side of your chair. Reaching over towards the left. And really pushing into the ground with the left hand to lengthen the right side of the body. And really clarify that both bum cheeks are still grounded. So if you need to come up a little bit to keep both bum cheeks grounded, that's totally fine. Reaching over with the top hand. Breathing freely, there's no need to hold the breath. And staying open towards the front, so we're not collapsing forward, we're open towards the front. Noticing where you feel the breath. And then keeping the head down, bring the top arm up and over till it comes parallel to the ground. Hovering here for a few breaths. Pulling the right fingertips in the opposite direction of the crown of the head. So the head is still relaxed, still being pulled down towards the ground by gravity. We're not holding it up. And we're pulling the crown of the head in the opposite direction to the fingertips, getting that stretch along the right side of the neck. And then coming all the way up, the right hand will now come down and the left hand will come over, reaching over towards the right, really pushing into the ground with the right hand, clarifying both bum cheeks are firmly grounded. Breathing freely, no need to hold the breath, it won't help at all. But noticing where you feel the breath. Might be more along the left side of the body as it's really pulled taut right here. And the head is relaxed. Noticing if you're collapsing forward at all and staying open towards the front as if your torso is trapped between two walls. Not trapped, but in between two walls. So you have to stay vertical to the ground. And then keeping the head down, bring the top arm up and over so that it's parallel to the ground. The head is still hanging loose and pulling the left fingertips in the opposite direction to the crown of the head. Breathing freely. Crown of the head pulling away from the left fingertips. And coming all the way up. We'll do a couple of head rolls. So full, slow head rolls, being mindful not to go too far back because there might be a lot on the neck, but if it feels good, then do it. But really listening to the body, moving slowly, and then going in the opposite direction. Full circles, really going into all the corners so far as feels good. And then back to center. Interlock the hands behind the back now and pull the arms up, so something like this, and reaching up. Maybe noticing the natural inclination of the chest to move forward and bring it in just slightly. Noticing where you feel the breath here. All the time breathing freely. There's no need to hold the breath. And letting go of that. Now we'll do the same on the front. So interlocking the hand and pushing forward and arching the back, dropping the head. Lengthening the back side of the spine, really pushing forward as much as possible and lengthening the back of the spine as much as possible. Breathing freely, being aware of where the breath is most obvious now. Might be in the sides of the rib cage, the back, the front. Where do you feel the breath? And then coming back up. Just do our little passive twist now, so bring the left hand onto the right knee, bring the right hand in line with the shoulders and bring it back down to the ground. And then as we inhale, lengthening the spine, and then as you exhale, gazing softly over the right shoulder. So inhale, spine lengthens as if there's this string pulling you up from the crown of the head, and exhale, twisting gently and gazing softly over your right shoulder. If you're on a chair, the right hand could be on the back of the chair or even on your lower back. Just somewhere that feels good. So lengthening on the inhale and twisting on the exhale. And then coming back to center, do the same on the other side. So bringing the right hand onto the left knee, bringing the left hand in line with the shoulders and bring it back down onto the ground or onto the chair or onto your lower back. Inhale, the spine lengthens, this string pulling you up from the crown of your head. And exhale, gazing softly over the left shoulder. Inhale, spine lengthens. And exhale, gently, gently twisting. There's no need to force ourselves. Inhale, lengthening. And exhale, gently twisting. And then coming back to center. Doing any last movements. Maybe if you want to do a little wiggle, a little shoulder moves, whatever you would like to do, whatever your body is calling you to do, before we start moving with more structure. Brilliant. And finding your way to all fours with the wrists directly beneath the shoulders, the knees directly beneath the pelvis, the fingers spread wide, a spine long. We're going to do a couple of cat and cows. So exhaling fully here. Inhale, pushing into the ground with your hands and arching the back of your spine, gently dropping the head, lengthening the back of the spine. As you exhale, the belly button comes down as you look forward, lengthening the front of the spine. Inhale, pushing back down, arching the back, gently dropping the head. And as you exhale, the belly button comes down, gazing softly forward. Coming into these movements on your own, so on the inhale, arching the spine, and as you exhale, the belly button comes down as you look forward. Allow the movements to last the entirety of the breath, so they're really slow movements, and you're only getting to the final posture at the end of the inhale and the end of the exhale. All the time clarifying that the weight is evenly distributed between the hands and the knees, and the breath flowing freely. You don't need to control the breath here. And then gradually beginning to make less movements, so arching the back a little bit less, to slowly find a midpoint between the arching and the lengthening of the front of the spine, till you come to a tabletop position where the spine is long and flat. Just reducing the movements little by little until you eventually find that midpoint. Then bringing the left hand a little bit towards the center, raising the right hand off the ground, extending it, and extending the left leg off the ground, pointing the left toes. Finding your balance here. Gazing at a fixed point on the ground is really supportive to helping you maintain your balance. And clarifying the weight is evenly distributed between the grounded hand and knee. And then inhaling here, and on the exhale, bringing the right elbow towards the left knee. Inhale, extending out the leg and the hand. Exhale, right knee, elbow comes towards the left knee. And as you inhale, reaching out. Doing these movements on your own with the rhythm of your own breath. And clarifying that the movement lasts the entirety of the breath. So you're only reaching that final posture at either the end of the inhale or the end of the exhale. Just slow, mindful movements. All the time the weight is evenly distributed between the left hand and the right knee. And then coming to meet at the end of the next inhale with the hand and the leg extended. And then bring the right hand down and the left knee down. Slipping back into child's pose. So bring the bum onto the heels. Arms along the beside the ears. And taking a couple of breaths here. Checking in where you feel the breath. And then coming back up. Readjusting so the wrists are beneath the shoulders, the knees are beneath the pelvis. We'll do the same on the other side. So bringing the right hand in towards the center a little bit, gazing at a fixed point and extending the left hand and the right leg. Taking a breath here. And on the exhale, bringing the left elbow towards the right knee. And on the inhale, extending out. Exhale, the left elbow comes towards the right knee. And inhale, extending out. Doing these movements on your own, again with the rhythm of your own breath. Clarifying the movement is lasting the entirety of the breath. Slow, mindful movements. The weight evenly distributed between the right hand and the left knee, and making any adjustments you need to clarify that the weight is evenly distributed between the hand and knee that are on the ground. And then coming to meet at the end of the next inhale with the arm extended, the leg extended, taking a moment, and then bring the left hand down, the right knee down, slipping back into child's pose just for another breath, bum on the heels. And knowing that at any time during the practice, you are always welcome to come back here if you don't feel like doing much movement and you just want to be in stillness. Now, extending the arms, so reaching the hands forward, and then bring the shoulders back down away from the ears. Exhaling here, and on the inhale coming up to all fours, and on the exhale lowering yourself down onto the front of the body. Inhaling to half cobra, so point the toes and lengthen the spine as you lift the chest off the floor. Clarifying that the lifting is coming from a lengthening of the spine. And on the exhale, bring the forward back down. And again, inhale, point the toes, lengthen the spine, chest and forehead come up. Exhale, coming back down. One more time, inhale, lengthen the spine, point the toes, and you can even extend the arms this time if you would like, but only if that feels good on the lower back. Only doing what feels good. And on the exhale, coming back down. Pushing up on the next inhale, coming back to all fours, tucking the toes under, lifting the bum up, and exhaling into downward facing dog. Exploring downward dog in movement, so the heels are high, legs are bent, and bringing one heel down towards the ground at a time, lengthening out the backs of the legs one at a time, waking up the legs. The fingers are broad and spread wide so that the weight is evenly distributed as much as possible across the palms of the hands. The neck is relaxed. The spine is long. Really bring the pelvis up high and lengthening up and down the backs of the legs. And then looking towards the front of the mat on the next inhale, stepping to the front of the mat with feet parallel, hip width apart. And exhale, folding forward, relax the spine. Inhale, coming up to standing. The arms come out wide up overhead. And exhale down through center. Coming to stand at the front of the mat with the feet parallel, hip width apart. Micro bend in the knees. Spine is long. The shoulders are broad. And the hands coming back down alongside you. Exhaling here. And then on the inhale, the arms come out wide and up overhead, coming together overhead. Exhale, folding forward, relax the spine. Inhale, lengthening the spine as you come onto the fingertips. And exhale, stepping back into a plank. Taking a breath here. And then on the exhale, lowering down. The knees can come down first if you would like. Inhale, pointing the toes, lengthen the spine, coming either into half cobra or extending the arms into full cobra. And exhale, coming back down, forehead to the floor. Inhale, pushing up to all fours and tucking the toes under. Exhaling into downward facing dog. Exploring downward dog, either movement or in stillness. So if you want to have the heels high and bring one heel down towards the ground at a time, feel free to do so. Or if you want to come into stillness with the heels coming down towards the ground, but without moving them, feel free to do so. It's your practice. The fingers are broad, spread wide, and shifting the weight forward, so come back into our high plank, shoulders above the wrists. And then on the exhale, lowering down, the knees can come down first if they need to. Inhaling to half cobra or full cobra. Exhale, coming back down forward to the floor. Inhale up to all fours, tucking the toes under. Exhaling to downward facing dog. Looking towards the hands, stepping the right foot forward. You can use the right hand to help you, bringing the back foot at a 90-degree angle to the front foot, and coming up to vertical with the arms wide, parallel to the long edge of the mat. Really grounding through that front foot so the weight is evenly distributed between the front foot and the back foot. Notice if you're reaching forward at all, and bring the torso back a little bit, gazing softly at the right fingertips. Reaching the left hand down, bringing the right hand overhead, reaching back, gazing softly at the right fingertips. The front knee is still above the front ankle, breathing freely. And then bring the right forearm down to rest onto the right thigh, and bring the left arm up overhead, gazing at the left fingertips if this feels comfortable on the neck. Only doing what feels good on the neck. Really clarifying you're not collapsing forward or folding forward. You're staying open as if you're between two walls, breathing freely. And then bring the two hands down on either side of the foot and step the right foot to come into our high plank, taking a breath here. And exhale, lowering down. Knees can come down first if they need to, pointing the toes, inhaling to half cobra or full cobra, and exhale forward, comes back down. Pushing up to all fours on the inhale, tucking the toes under, exhaling to downward facing dog. Stepping the left foot forward this time, back foot at a 90-degree angle to the front foot, arms coming out wide as you come up to vertical. Clarify the front knee is directly above the front ankle and the weight evenly distributed between both feet. Gazing softly at the left fingertips if that feels good on the neck. Reaching the right hand back down, raising the left hand over, gazing at the left fingertips if that feels good. Front knee still above the front ankle. And then coming back forward and bring the left forearm onto the left thigh and bringing the right hand up overhead. One long line all the way from the right heel to the left fingertips, gazing at the right fingertips if that feels good. Breathing freely. Then bring the right hand down, the left hand down, stepping the left foot back, coming into high plank, taking a breath and lowering down on the exhale, pointing the toes, lengthening the spine on the inhale to a half cobra or full cobra. And exhale forward to the floor. Up to all fours on the inhale, tucking the toes under, and exhaling to downward facing dog. With the pelvis coming up high, lengthening down the backs of the legs. And feeling free to be here in stillness if you wish. So either bring the heels down towards the ground one at a time, or just hanging out here in stillness. The fingers spread wide, really pushing into the ground with the hands. Gazing at the fingertips on the exhale, and on the inhale, stepping to the front of the mat, feet parallel, hip width apart, and exhale, relaxing the spine, folding forward. Inhale, coming to standing, arms come wide, up overhead. Exhale, back down through center. Then shifting the weight over onto your left foot, gazing at a fixed point to help you maintain your balance. The hands can be on the hips. And then resting the right foot onto the left foot. And this might be it, and that is totally fine. Otherwise, really gazing at that fixed point to help you maintain your balance. Explore bringing the right foot onto the left calf. Again, this might be it. Or you can explore bringing the right foot onto the left thigh. Just whatever it is, it doesn't matter. We're just exploring the body and its capacity. The hands can either stay on the hips or they can come out wide, or maybe they come up overhead if that feels good, if you have access to it. And maybe they come all the way back down and down through center. Just finding this inner balance. And it really doesn't matter where that right foot is. We really are just exploring the body and its capacity, which is different every day. Some days we can do things and some days we can't. Breathing freely. And then bring the right foot down, resting the top of the left foot on the ground, just stretching out the top of the left foot because it's had all this weight on it, giving it a rest. And we'll do the same on the other side. So shifting the weight over slightly onto the right foot and resting the left foot on the right foot to begin with. The hands are on the hips. And gazing at that fixed point that's not moving in the distance to keep your balance. And maybe exploring bringing the left foot onto the right calf. And this might be it. Or bringing it all the way up onto the right thigh. Gazing at that fixed point to help you keep your balance. And you can leave the hands on the hips. Or you can bring the hands out wide. Or maybe they even come up overhead, coming together. And back down through center. You might find you have more balance on one side than the other. This is usually the case. We have a preference to one side. Maybe you find it's totally the same on both sides. Maybe you fall over, maybe you wobble a little bit. It really doesn't matter. Just exploring the body and its capacity. And then bringing that foot down and resting the top of the right foot on the ground, stretching out the top of the right foot.
Stepping the feet wider so they're on the edges of the mat, turning them out a little bit. We're going to come into a squatting position, so bending the legs. The arms can come out in front of you to help you keep your balance. Maybe they come onto the ground, maybe you're on the balls of your feet, maybe your heels are on the ground. Just whatever it is in this little squatting position. And if this is really comfortable, you can bring the hands in prayer position in front of you, using that contact between the forearms and the knees to support the lengthening of the spine. And then slipping back, coming onto the bum, extending out the right leg, and then bending the left leg. So the left foot is on the right thigh, facing towards that bent leg, and then folding forward over the bent leg. You might not be very far, or maybe it is. Maybe your forehead comes onto the floor. Really doesn't matter. Just exploring the body and its capacity. And that extended leg might be off the floor a little bit. That is okay too. Just checking in with the breath, noticing where you feel the breath here. Noticing areas of tight sensations, of soft sensations. Breathing freely. Being with the body. And then coming back up. Do the same on the other side. So extending out the left leg this time, bending the right leg so the right foot is on the left thigh, turning to face that bent leg and folding forward over that leg. It might not be very far. You might come onto your forearms. The forearm might come on the floor. It really is not a competition to see how far you can go. It's just an exploration of the body and its capacity. Checking in with the breath. Where do you feel the breath? Here. Front of the body, back of the body, sides of the body. And coming back up. We're going to come to lying down, so coming onto your back. And bring the knees in towards the chest and gently rocking from side to side, massaging out the back. Using the wonder of gravity to support us in massaging our back. Noticing the weight shifting from side to side and not being afraid to fall over. Moving on to drawing circles with the knees, getting a more comprehensive massage, really being aware of how the weight is shifting across the body. And circling the knees in the opposite direction, noticing if it feels a little bit different, if it feels the same. And then just doing any last movements you would like to before we settle into stillness. If you want to get some layers, put on some layers. And then extending out the legs so the feet fall outwards. Resting the hands somewhere comfortable. And gently closing the eyes. Softening the forehead. Relaxing the eyebrows, the eyes. Eyelids, softening the jaw, the cheeks, the tongue, lips. Inviting the body to let go of any holdings, any tension. Just take this time to be in stillness, to really integrate the practice. Breathing freely. Inviting the mind to stay with the body, stay with sensation, stay with experience. There's no hurry. We'll hang out here for a couple of minutes in stillness. Just giving your body the time it needs to integrate the practice. Just staying with the body, being with the breath. Of course, the mind does wander sometimes, so if it does, when you notice, just gently invite it back to this experience of breathing, to this experience of having a body, to sensation. Being with the body. Being with the breath. And softly and gently coming back to the body with some soft, gentle, nurturing movements. So maybe beginning by wiggling the toes and the fingers. Just gentle, yummy movements. And gradually extending those movements into the ankles and the wrists, and eventually the legs and the rest of the body. Or maybe you want to give a stretch or a yawn. Just whatever it is really to come back to this physical experience. Still keeping the eyes gently closed with awareness. Focusing inward. Being with body and breath. And then when you're ready, rolling over onto the side of your body. Eyes still gently closed, focus still inward, being with the body, being with the breath, savoring these moments of stillness. This presence with your inner landscape. And then when you're ready, finding your way back up to a comfortable seated position. With the eyes gently closed. Of course, if you open the eyes, that's fine. Just gently close them again once you find your seat. So it can either be with the legs loosely crossed, or if you want a cushion to sit on, or if you want to be kneeling. And if you would rather be lying down for this, that is perfect too. We're going to come into a brief meditation. Just really savoring these last few moments of stillness. Softening the forehead. Relaxing the eyes, the eyebrows. Relaxing the cheek and the jaw. Tongue floating effortlessly within the mouth. Throat relaxed, the shoulders relaxed. Whole body relaxed, letting go of any holdings, any tension. Noticing the breath. Where do you experience the breath? Is it the belly or the chest? Throat or the tip of the nose? Maybe it's a combination of all of these. Noticing the quality of the breath, if it's deep or shallow, fast or slow. Noticing the parts of the body in contact with the ground. If it's the legs, feet. Parts of the body in contact with each other. Maybe the hands on the legs with each other. Armpits, lips. What parts of the body are in contact with each other? Just noticing without moving. Gently inviting the mind to stay present. If it wanders, that is okay. The mind does do this. But just gently inviting it back whenever you notice. Noticing the parts of the body with clothing on them. Parts of the body in contact with clothing, with material. And the parts of the body in contact with the air, the skin and the air. And being aware of this experience of life, the changing sensations around the body, be it tinglings, be it textures, be it sensations of hot and cold. Just this general experience of being alive, of being breathing, cells vibrating. This quality of aliveness, of life. Being with the body, being with the breath. I'm feeling free to remain here in stillness for however long you wish. Otherwise, whenever you're ready, placing your hands on your heart, sending yourself a little bit of love, appreciation, and really acknowledging that you've taken this time for you, that you've chosen to take responsibility for your happiness, your health, and your well-being. And that already in itself is a beautiful thing. And then when you're ready, opening the eyes, coming back to your surroundings, and slowly coming back to the rest of your day. Namaste.